Hello, everyone. My name is Kelvin. I am one of the students of PPCR 2024. I am member of Group 8, the Octaves. And for today, I will present an article. It's a bonus assignment proposal for the coordinator. And today, the focus is an observational study. This was recently published in BMJ Medicine. It's the British Medical Journal. It's an important article that questions us about the omega-3 supplemental. The title of the paper is Regular Use of Fish Oil Supplements in Course of Cardiovascular Diseases, a Prospective Cohort Study. I am cardiologist, so this study is very important in my field of interest. So let's dive into the background. We know that cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of worldwide mortality. In UK, this is about 1/6 of the overall mortality cause. And fish oil is rich in it's a rich source of omega-3s. This is composed by two different kind of acids, and it's recommended that the dietary measure includes omega-3s to prevent cardiovascular disease. So the current recommendation about supplementation is for people at high risk of cardiovascular disease, and they recommend that this population consume at least one portion of fish oil once a week. And in face of this, use of fish oil supplements has become popular worldwide, especially for overall population, including people under low and high cardiovascular risk. But when you see literature, the results are controversial. We can see positive and negative results of several studies showing benefits and cons about fish oil supplementation. So here we have an example in the background. It was a big systematic review included the 37 observational study plus 61 randomized controlled trials, and they found evidence indicate beneficial effects were found just in ischemic stroke, but there is no benefit when we see major cardiovascular events, myocardial infarction, and all cause of death. Here we have another famous RCT. It is the reduced trial, and they show that patients with hypertriglyceridemia, despite the use of statins, the risk of ischemic events, including cardiovascular death, was significantly lower among those who received 2 grams of omega-3s twice daily. And here we can see the survival rate. It was very, very improved with this supplementation. So to summary, what is already known on this topic? Findings of the effects of omega-3 fatty acids or fish oil on cardiovascular disease are controversial, as we see. And most previous studies focused, as I showed before, in one health outcome. And they did not characterize specific cardiovascular disease outcomes, such as atrial fibrillation, myocardial infarction, stroke, heart failure, or major cardiovascular events. In face of this, whether fish oil could differentially affect the dynamic course of cardiovascular diseases, from atrial fibrillation to major cardiovascular events, to other specific cardiovascular disease outcomes, or even to death, is unclear. So, this article brings to us another important concept, that is the dynamic progressive course of cardiovascular diseases. We have patients with a health status that they call it as primary stage, to atrial fibrillation. It's already a disease, but it's a secondary stage. And finally, we have the major adverse cardiovascular events that they mention as tertiary stage. And in the final way, we have death as an end stage of cardiovascular disease. So following these steps, following this way, they classify the patient in different pathways. As we can see here, we have the baseline patients, the transition for the primary stage, the transition for the secondary or in the tertiary stage, and finally to death. And this is important as we will see in some minutes. So about the methodology of this trial, it was a prospective cohort. The patients were followed, were assigned using the UK Biobank. UK Biobank is a famous community-based cohort study, and they include more than a half million UK inhabitants with ages between 40 and 69 years at recruitment point. The recruitment of the study was between 2006 and 2010, and the patients were submitted to a baseline survey. In the baseline survey, patients used touchscreen questionnaires in face-to-face interviews and provided detailed personal, socioeconomic, and lifestyle characteristics and information on diseases at baseline. So here we have the flow chart of this cohort. They started with a huge number of patients, and after exclusion criteria that included the diseases already diagnosed in these patients, we have this final number of patients included in the cohort. As we can see, it's a significant number of sample. So the main point is information on regular use of fish oil supplements was collected in these patients from a self-reported touchscreen questionnaire during the baseline survey. And with this methodology, they assessed the patients and divided they in user and non-users of fish oil supplements. So about the follow-up, from the time of recruitment to death, lost to follow-up, or the end of date follow-up, the trial was interrupted in 2021, and the follow-up which before was chosen. And they measured incident cases of interest such as atrial fibrillation, heart failure, stroke, and myocardial infarction, identified by linkage to death registry, primary care registry records, and hospital inpatient records. They were obtained using the NIH database. And this important aspect in observational study, which covariates they controlled for. They chose age, sex, ethnic group, Townsend deprivation index with a higher score indicating higher levels of deprivation, smoking status of a patient, alcohol consumption, and diseases such as diabetes mellitus, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, and other comorbidities such as COPD. And about the statistical analysis, comparisons between regular users of fish oil supplements and non-users were made with students' t-test or X-Wave test. And the main statistical tool used was a multi-state regression model. And with this model, they assessed the role of regular use of fish oil supplements in the temporal disease progression from health status to atrial fibrillation, as we can see here as transition A, and from atrial fibrillation to major adverse cardiovascular events, or from atrial fibrillation to death, or from baseline to major cardiovascular adverse events. So with this model, they assessed different pathways in the cardiovascular continuum disease history. All models were adjusted for age, sex, ethnic group, the deprivation index that I mentioned before, consumption of oil fish, consumption of non-oil fish, smoking status, alcohol consumption, and different kinds of medication in use and comorbidities. Several sensitivity analyses were conducted in this trial, This is important because it's improved the power of this observational study. So finally, the interesting thing about the results. Let's see. Here we have the table 1, and we can see that they divided patients between non-users and users of supplements. About 30% of patients were users of supplements. It's significantly sample. And here we have the baseline characteristics. When you see the main characteristics, here we have the number of participants of this cohort, with mean age of 55.9 years. 55% of the sample were composed by women between 40 and 69 years. This is the range of a UK Biobank. And as I mentioned, 31.4% was composed by regular use of fish oil supplements patients. And the median follow-up time was 11.9 years. In the group of regular users of fish oil supplements, they found higher proportions of elderly people, white people, women, plus higher consumption of alcohol. And the Townsend deprivation index and the proportion of current smokers were lower in regular users of fish oil supplements. This is interesting. And here we have the second table of the paper, where they divide patients in 4 different patterns of progression and diseases. And as we can see with the red arrows, we have statistical significant interaction. And this was the final messages, the final results for the studies. So for individuals in the primary stages, that I mean health status, use of fish oil supplements had a harmful effect on the transition from health to atrial fibrillation, with a hazard ratio of 1.13. For individuals with atrial fibrillation that they called as secondary stage at the beginning of the study, regular use of fish oil supplements decreased the risk of major adverse cardiovascular events. And had a borderline protective effect on the transition from atrial fibrillation to death. So in another conclusion, they saw that regular use of fish oil supplements were marginally associated with increased risk of stroke in patients with a healthy cardiovascular state, whereas a protective effect was found in transitions from healthy cardiovascular states to heart failure. Age, sex, smoking, the consumption of another oils, non-oil fishy users, prevalent hypertension, and use of statins and antihypertensive drugs modified the association as covariates between using the regular use of fish oil supplements and the transition from health stage to atrial fibrillation. Association between regular use of fish oil supplements and risk of transition from health states to major adverse cardiovascular events were greater in women and non-smoker and between non-smoking patients. The results were not substantially changed in the sensitivity analysis that I mentioned. The authors focused a lot in this paper. So about the discussion, we can see that the regular use of fish oil supplements could have a differential role in the progression of cardiovascular disease. As I mentioned, cardiovascular disease is a continuum, starting with healthy people and finalizing with death. But between these, we have atrial fibrillation, major adverse cardiovascular diseases. And the authors concluded that for people with healthy cardiovascular profile, a regular use of fish oil supplements in a context of primary prevention was associated in this study, this observational study, with an increased risk for atrial fibrillation. And this is very important because we are giving supplements for health people and we are maybe stimulating disease. And on the other hand, for patients with already diagnosed atrial fibrillation, regular use of fish oil supplements, as in a context of secondary prevention, had a protective effect or no effect in transitions from atrial fibrillation to major cardiovascular events, atrial fibrillation to death, and major adverse cardiovascular events to death. So they concluded that the supplementation of fish oil has significant influence in these different pathways, but maybe it's not indicated, it's not good for health people. Well, about the strengths of this cohort, they used a large sample size obtained from UK Biobank. The follow-up period was enough long to obtain the results of interest. They had complete data on health outcomes. It was very suitable, complete data. And the analytical strategy, the multi-stage model used by the authors, give us less biased estimates than the conventional Cox model. And on the other hand, we have the weakness about this trial. As I mentioned, this is an observational study. It's very important study to make us to think about the supplementation, but as an observational cohort, no causal relationship can be drawn for the study. Despite all the strategies used, residual confounders could still exist. For example, they didn't assess genetics, and they didn't evaluate doses and formulation of the fish oil supplements. We know that this fish oil has different components, and they didn't assess potential dose-dependent factors. So in this trial, we could have an underestimation of the true risk because they use it just in hospital inpatient data. So it could miss some diagnosis, such as the incidence of atrial fibrillation. And most of the participants in this observational study was composed by a white ethnic group. So it compromises a little the generalizability of this study. So in conclusion, this large-scale prospective study composed by patients of a UK cohort suggested that regular use of fish oil supplements might have differential roles in the course of cardiovascular disease. So the regular use of fish oil supplements might be a risk factor for atrial fibrillation and stroke among the general population, but could be beneficial for disease progression in selected patients. So we need to think better in our daily practice, which patient would be would have benefits for the supplemental. And further studies evidently are needed to determine whether potential confounders modify these effects, for example, as I mentioned, it's genetics, and the precise mechanism for the development and prognosis of cardiovascular events. So this was the study that I focused in this presentation. I hope that you like it, and thank you very much for the attention.